Hello and welcome to Clip and Climb Phillip Island. My name's Michelle, and in this safety video we'll be going over how to attach to and climb the walls in our arena, but also how to put your harness on safely and correctly. Should you forget anything in this briefing, please don't be afraid to ask a staff member for help at any point during your climb. What you may have noticed is that each one of our walls has its own safety line. They also have their own red safety mat attached to each station, and it's very important that we are connected to one of these lines before we attempt to climb a wall. So the way we connect onto these is by what we call a lock and key system. On your harness you'll have one of these things, we call this our key. Likewise, this barrel here is our lock. So when you want to join onto a wall, it's like putting the key in the lock to open the door. So one side of your key is coloured in yellow. Now it's important we find this yellow side of our key when we attempt to clip on a wall. We're matching the line at the end of our key up with a line in the middle of our lock, like so. It will go all the way inwards. Now while we're still pushing the key inwards, we're going to turn it to our right. If we turn enough, our mat will release down to the floor and we are then safe to climb that wall. Now it's very important, if you've never climbed one of our walls before, to test the feeling of coming down before you go all the way to the top. So the way we recommend you do this is to firstly climb your wall a couple of steps until you're above this red dot here. From here, put one hand on the blue section of your line where it's nice and comfortable, and all you need to think about to come down is bringing this other hand to the blue rope as well. You can tap your feet gently on the wall on the way down to make the descent easier, but it is as simple as that. Once you're happy with this feeling, you can go as high as you'd like. There are buttons at the top of most of our walls that you can push and they'll flash. That's how we celebrate getting to the top. We've even got our 2-speed climb walls with a start and stop button. You can record your time up a 10-metre wall. Few walls in our arena that have specific safety advice. This is one of them, our poles. We call this one Stairway to Heaven. Now when you climb Stairway to Heaven, it's okay to hold the blue section of your line should you need to move it out the way of your face, but please don't make a habit of pulling it down while you climb. While this may feel comfortable, unfortunately this is quite dangerous, so keep it tight for the entire duration as you're climbing. Now should you wish to come down off this wall, we're going to face in towards the centre. You'll see that there's an orange dot on our floor. You need to hold the blue section of our line and just take a gentle step into the middle to come down. Last wall I wish to tell you about is this one. So this obstacle is called Astro Ball. What you may have noticed is that it actually has more than one mat at the base. It is in fact 3 different climbing walls in one. The way we know which side we're joined onto is by the colour of the handles in front of us. So for example, this green handled side is the easiest of the 3. The black handled side over here is the hardest of the 3. Now whichever side you join onto, you need to make sure you're sticking to those colour handles and not climbing around the wall while you're going up. Now we'll demonstrate how to put your harness on safely and correctly. So the first thing you need to find when putting on a harness is finding the front. You're looking for a Clip and Climb logo, which will be just underneath the key we spoke about. You also need to pay attention to the 2 straps at the front of your harness. They may be purple or blue dependent on the harness you are given. They need to be nice and flat when you step into your harness. No twists or turns like this, or you'll have to start all over again. So if you've got them nice and flat, it should look like a pair of shorts, 1 big waist loop, 2 smaller leg loops, and we step in exactly like that. Bring it up to just above your hip level. If you're assisting someone, get them to hold the key for you. But for now we're going to tighten in our waistband. Nice and snug and tight with this one. A couple of fingers is fine, but if an adult could get their hand through freely, that would be too loose. We need to also make sure that our leg straps are tightened up Now with these, tighten them so that they sit flat when you are standing up straight. Not too tight, not too loose. The second step is the most important one. We now have to lock off our harness so that it can't come undone while we're climbing. The way we do that, we take our waistband, it's going to go back the way it came from and thread in through the furthest side of your buckle. At the moment your buckle looks like an O, meaning that it's open. If you lock it off correctly, it will now look like a C, meaning that it is closed. Please just make sure you do that with all three of your buckles. Please don't forget your leg loops. And the last step is simple. It's just tucking away any excess straps so that you can't trip over it while you're climbing. There's a couple of places we can put this. In the middle of our back is a waist loop that we can pull through. If you still have quite a bit left over, you need to thread it back and forth without pulling your strap all the way out. Repeat that as many times as you need to keep it out of your way. Now to find your leg loops, you need to follow this waistband down. It splits into two. Bring these around to the side. For adults, we're probably only going through this loop just the once, but for younger children, back and forth as many times as you need, just how we did the waistband. Provided all of these steps are done correctly, you are then good to go. Please just make sure that a staff member has double checked your harness before you attempt to climb a wall.